Hello and welcome to another Starcraft 2 commentary video. This is GomJabbar on Battle.net and KenGo on YouTube. This is a Protoss versus Terran on Metalopolis. GomJabbar at the bottom, that's me. And my Terran opponent, Jester, at the top. This is a ladder game. And this game is notable because it features the double forge build that everyone is loving lately. And basically what happened was, right after watching that Tyler versus Jinro show match, where he did the most insane timing attack you've ever seen in your life, I just sort of analyzed the VOD, the video, because there was no replay, unfortunately, to analyze the build order. But I just took a lot of notes and practiced a bit on my own, and this is the very first game against an opponent that isn't easy AI where I attempted this build, and I think it worked out great, and I executed it reasonably well, so I'm going to show it off here. Now, previously, when I'm not doing this build, I do scout after Pylon in every matchup, but I noticed that Tyler scouted after his gateway, and that's what I'm doing. He has things very carefully timed out in this build, and I really want to try and follow his timings. So I scouted after the gateway, and if you don't know, scouting after the gateway means you do have one pro mining minerals a little longer than if you scouted after the Pylon. So this is a slightly economic advantage. And I'm going to send guys over here, and I notice that you do not chrono boost a third time because you want money right here for that cybernetics core. A lot of the time I will chrono boost a third time before the core comes out, and then I will actually have to wait a couple of seconds before I can build my cyber core, but this timing is better. And now I am saving chrono boosts very specifically. I noticed that Tyler actually makes a zealot first, which is a little odd to me at first, but I understand now why he does that. First of all, you can just build it while the cyber core is building, and then pop out a stalker right when it's finished. So you're making full use of your building. You're being as efficient with your money as you can be. And also, you can actually fend off Marauder pressure with the Zealot and Stalker. You just have to attack, and while they're kiting the Zealot, your Stalker is doing the damage to the Marauder. So it does work okay. Previously, I would go for a sentry here and just block them out. But I like this approach too. It's pretty good. Now, what this build does is you do want that Stalker pretty quickly to get the SCV out of your base, and you're going to chrono boost that Stalker, and then one chrono boost will be spent on Warp Gate. It can be near the end of the Warp Gate cycle just to finish it off, and if you do scout early, like an early at 3 racks or something, you can save your chrono boost for your Warp Gates, or for your gateways and units. So you don't want to spend an early chrono boost on Warp Gate. You want to spend a late chrono boost on Warp Gate. That's an interesting distinction, I think. Now we are going Gateway Robo. I don't know if you can actually get away with that in close position meta, but certainly far position, you can definitely do this. And you want to rush for the Observer. And yeah, there's my late chrono boost on Warp Gate. Pretty well timed, I guess. Anyway, and now I'm making constant sentries out of my gateway, and I can actually get one more because I'm using my gas here. I'm not really spending my minerals, and I'm still constantly making units. They're just sentries, which are gas units. So this is a similar approach to the Protoss versus Zerg 3-gate expand, where you just make nothing but sentries, and all of your minerals can go into pylons and your nexus pretty early, and that's what we're going to do here. After the Zealot and the Stalker, you just want sentries. And I made a mistake here. I threw down another gateway, but that's bad. I canceled it. Anyway, and now I'm going to expand because I scouted my opponent expanding. The observer just got into his base, and I just saw that, so I'm like, okay, you need to match the Terran expansion as soon as it goes up. And now that I have these 3 gateways, I'm going to build 2 forges. And I did not time this as well as Tyler did. He just keeps building until he has 300 minerals and then puts them down at the same time, which is probably better. But I don't really think it's a big deal. And you'll notice I'm not spending this chrono boost, and that is intentional. Ordinarily I'd just be spending all of it on probes, but you actually want all the chrono boosts you have to go toward this fast upgrades. And I'm just checking out his army composition, no big deal. A lot of Terrans will be getting a little aggressive earlier, but you can actually hold aggression off just by force field. You want to make a little cup behind them so they can't micro away, and your zealots will do a ton of damage. He scouts, doesn't really see anything at all that's useful to him. I'm actually not making probes, that's a mistake. So, wow, that's a big deal, not making any probes. So yeah, whatever. And it's idle probe. So once I do expand, I just want to add on zealots and stalkers pretty much. And again, constant chrono boosting of these forges. I'll do it as soon as I remember. There we go. And I'm not actually like building anything except for this Twilight Council. This is a very specific timing. I actually have to pause this and go back. This timing, so far this build is pretty simple. You know, 3 gateway, or you know, it's gateway robo, gateway gateway. Then you just make sentries out of your 3 gateways in order to expand quickly. After the observer, obviously. And if you scout, you know, something crazy, then you might want to change what you're doing. But in this case, what I saw was exactly what I wanted to see. As soon as you expand, you put down these 2 forges and chrono boost them constantly. So here's where the build gets a little tricky. Right here we can see that +1/+1 is about halfway done, give or take. So when it's a little bit more than halfway done, what I want to do is throw down a Twilight Council and 2 gas geysers at about the same time. The gas were a little early when I did it, but that's the timing you want. And if you throw down all these things right when the +1/+1 is about 2/3 done, then well, we'll see what happens. The Twilight Council is going to finish almost exactly the same time as these do. And I'm going to start up my gas production. And now I probably should be going for a support bay. And now you can see the +2/+2 finishes, or begins right when this council finishes. And right now you want to do a robotic support bay and start teching to Colossus. Instead of that, I'm actually going to be going for a faster charge, which is just my own preference. I really like charge against Terran. But it's probably a better timing to do Colossus. Anyway, so I have +2/+2 in the works, and his infantry is actually unupgraded right now. So I've got +1/+1, and he has 0/0. There's a nasty supply block at 92 food. Yeah, so here's the support, the robotics bay. And charge. And +2/+2. So, you know, we're approaching the super slick timing attack, but it will take a few more. Charge is actually something that Tyler skips, I think, for his timing. And that's fine. And I'm going to go scout. Another important part of this attack is what the Terran decides to do. So here's a range upgrade and a Colossus started simultaneously. But I think I could have gotten this support bay a little earlier. So that's something to improve next time. And now I get 2 gateways. That's also something specific that Tyler does. And I'm preparing to take my 3rd base. I might have sent him a little early. So I really need more stalkers right now. That's a mistake that I'm doing with the build, but I did rush for charge, and that was kind of intentional, that I don't have that many stalkers. I think, though, I really should, because, well, I'm going Colossus, and you just sort of need them to deal with the Vikings. So, first Colossus is done. If I time this right, I should have 2 Colossus right when this range upgrade finishes, the Thermal Lance. Money is staying pretty low. And if you look at the resource count, we're, about even, for sure. Worker count's identical. Everything's fine. And he's just starting to get Vikings, just now. And he's taking his 3rd base. I'm taking my own 3rd base, and, his is a little earlier. Now, when Tyler does this timing attack, I believe he does attack and actually cut probes, and then takes his 3rd at once it's successful. I elected to take my 3rd first and just play for a longer term game, but it's not that big a deal. So, I am pushing out. This is the timing attack right now. 2 Colossus with range, and I've got +2/+2 gateway army against 1-0 infantry. Barely any Vikings at all. He's starting to produce Vikings. I don't think has he even scouted the robotic support bay? He hasn't. He doesn't know. And these are, this is late Colossus. A lot of players will rush for Colossus as soon as they expand. And, I went pretty late with mine, which is what Tyler did as well. So we're going to see the effect of this attack, and, this is while expanding. Unfortunately, my micro is actually terrible during this attack, but it's not that big a deal. His force is kind of split up right now, which also helps me a lot. And I'm going to move in. He actually has a planetary here, which is something that 99% of Terrans aren't going to do. So I do actually kill it, though. And here's a bunch of Marines, which are kind of an odd choice. Good micro by my opponent. I did not really react. I'm not force fielding or anything. These are all completely wasted sentries. Ridiculous. And yeah, I should have Guardian shielded that whole time. So not the best execution of the attack, but I killed off his entire army and his 3rd base, and I have my own 3rd up and running, and I'm just going to retreat here. The food count is 112 to 86, and I'm just in fantastic shape right now. My opponent is doing the smart thing. He's going to try and counterattack, do some harassment drops, and he has to make these Vikings constantly. Because, those Colossi are out. They're doing damage. And this is another little thing that I chose to do, which is as soon as I'm on 3 bases, because the game with Tyler against Jinro did not get this far, I elected to start producing 2 Stargate Phoenixes. And Phoenix Colossus is ridiculously good, so I think that was a good choice. Meanwhile, he's just now getting up to 2-2 infantry. And I probably should be starting my 3-3. I totally forget about upgrades after the double forge opening, which is maybe not ideal. So I had to fend off a little bit of harass. I took no damage there. If you look at the worker count, I am 10 ahead right now. And I'm way ahead in the army tab as well. You can see just how powerful that timing attack is. It leaves me up a base at the end of it, and then I just retreat, and I'm miles ahead. And now all I have to do is play the safest game that I possibly can, pumping out these Phoenixes. I could go double Robo as well. Maybe not with 2 Stargates, but maybe double Robo 1 Stargate is viable. But in this situation, I felt that he had a jump start on Vikings production, and I did want some Phoenixes. And I should certainly be taking another base right now, which I'm not doing. But it's okay. Yeah, he's preoccupied getting his third back up, so I really need to be taking another base. And he's going to scan, and I'm moving out, which is kind of odd. Now I decided to just pull back. I'm like, well, he just scanned me moving out, so I'm not going to do that. Terran actually is like not muling, which is kind of not good for a Terran. They need all the mules they can get. Another planetary is third. I don't know about that. Anyway, another gateway, I guess. I could also be getting Templar at this. Well, okay. I should probably expand to this base before I start getting Templar archives. He is going to spot me moving in, and here's a gigantic army. And I do want to attack again. I'm going to take out his third. And he's actually, he's going to go ahead and retreat. Sacrifice his third base, oddly enough. And he's actually going to counterattack. Now, I don't care what matchup it is. It really pisses me off when players do this, and they just like, oh, base trade, I mean, because I had the game won, and then it can be a base trade, and then it's like a coin flip, and I'm not complaining, I'm just saying it's annoying to play against that, and that's why they do it, And I could have gone in and just killed his natural, but I mean, I know I have a superior army. I really just want to crush this and then defend. Don't ask me what he's doing here. So yeah, I'm just going to pull back here. I killed his third again. I do have, this base coming up. He killed my natural, but I don't feel like that's a huge deal at this point. And unfortunately, I don't have quite enough Phoenixes. But Stalkers are pretty good against Vikings. Who knew? And now he splits up his forces to focus down this nexus. Pretty good move, I guess. I'm not really microing. But again, let's look at the food count. I'm massively supply blocked at 103, but I have a lot of money in the bank. And he picked off like the core and the robo, and then that's it. So now that his army's dead, the army tab, I'm way ahead. I saved this base. I've got this one up and running. I'm just going to remake this one because I have 1,500 minerals, and I can remake this one. I don't know what those guys were doing. It's a little odd. And now he decides to SCV rush. Okay. Don't ask me. A little odd. And, he's trying to mount a defense here, but there's, just not that much. Yeah, he's going all in with the SCVs, and I am focusing down the Vikings now, and that's it. Game's over. As he pursues my probes all the way across the map with a handful of SCVs, and he's healing them. Anyway, so a bit of a messy ending, and I totally blame Jester for that, because I hate base trades. But that Liquid Tyler timing attack, double forge opening, it is ridiculously strong, and I think if the timings were a little bit better for me, I could have attacked even earlier, maybe. And, you attack the Terran's third base right as it gets up, which means he's weaker in his army. You have +2/+2 against maybe 1-0 Marines. You've got 2 Colossus with range that just popped out, and he's not going to have a lot of Vikings to react to that. And in my case, I actually had charge as well, which I really liked. But some players might opt for more Stalkers. That's fine too. So I hope you enjoyed this game and learned a little bit, and definitely try out Double Forge because it's kick-ass.